Yeah. Yeah. Let me take you on a day. We ain't gotta wait. Tell me if you got an ex nigga in the way.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to Talkin Sporty. I'm Brittany Bets.
And I'm P.
Hey, it's 8/24. Happy Kobe Day.
That's right. Happy Kobe Day.
I miss him so much.
I know. It was funny because I think I posted a picture of myself at the mural. It was years back.
It was so
and
cute.
I was like, oh snap! I don't want Brittany to think I'm like at the mural or something.
No, I didn't know. I think you had posted that before.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like a crazy person, but I mean I love you, and Twitter is where we met. So True. So you're one of my most favorite people on Twitter, obviously. And in real life, truly, you have a special place in my heart. But anyway, I'm not going to get all mushy right now.
Yes, but it is Mom Day. It is Mom.
Yes. No, I saw the picture and I was just like, oh my gosh, I loved that picture of you when I first saw it. And then I loved it again tonight. And then I wore this hat. I had already had it on because I was like, my hair is crazy. I need to straighten it.
Yeah.
So I was going to wear a hat anyway. And I was just like, this is the perfect one. And then I saw your picture, like, yep, perfect one.
Synced up.
8.
Love 20. It.
Yeah.
I love it. So
what has been going on in your life?
Yeah, what was that?
What has been going on in your sports life?
Oh, you know, it's about that time where it's about to get chaotic. There's a lot we have to.
Preseason Rams game?
Yes, I watched. Actually, the last one that I watched last weekend, I was busy, but the last one that I watched was the Charger one. And
okay, so you didn't watch Raiders?
No, I didn't watch the Raider one. That was 2 seconds ago. Yeah. It's not a Rams preseason if we don't lose, so I'm cool with that.
It's preseason.
Exactly. Let's talk about though the Raiders situation. What do you think about the Max Crosby, Cam Akers stuff?
I mean, there's always a scuffle, right? These joint practices, scuffle. Rams practices, joint practices, scuffle. Since they've been back to LA, I've known, but no, seriously. So they have to know the fights are bound to happen, right?
Yeah.
Now Cam, he's smaller. Okay, so did you see the picture of Max and Aaron Donald? Oh my gosh. And Aaron Donald is just astronomically huge, especially, you know what I mean? And so to see Max Crosby bigger than him, that just is going to give you the scale.
Right.
And,
right.
Cam is obviously a smaller size,
yeah.
Back. And that whole just back and forth between them, or the exchange about how he was like, what did I get or whatever. I'm curious to know too, but I'd be scared of Max Crosby.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely. I did see them.
Did you think Cam gave him the business like he was saying?
I mean, sweetheart, don't fight outside your weight class. Come on now. But yeah, so those joint practices, fights, seems like it's going to be a pattern with us. I was just ready for a helmet to swing, you know what I mean? But I guess not.
For sure.
So the Rams have their last preseason game this Saturday against the Broncos.
Yep, this weekend. Oh my gosh. So what happened with Jerry Jeudy? I feel so bad because Broncos they're cursed with their receivers.
And you know what? I gotta say, first, I gotta say respectfully, I'm glad I didn't draft him in fantasy. Secondly, if I'm not mistaken, I think 2 seasons ago, Jerry Jeudy also tore his ACL. So
yeah. So is that what it was?
No, this is a hamstring injury, actually, but apparently
nothing as bad. I mean, not as bad.
Right, but apparently it was painful enough he had to be carted off. So that's something that obviously we would have to monitor. So that's what's going on with the Broncos. Our last preseason games this Saturday. We wait a
We're
week.
still not playing starters, right?
Not to my understanding, no. But it would be interesting to see some guys get some snaps here and there. I was reading up earlier today. Seems like Cooper and Matt look well. Looks like they didn't miss a step.
Yep. I
Which
heard that Matthew and Van had a really big connection, like a 75-yard tutty.
yeah.
I mean, it's practice, but you know, I like
You know, another thing that
I like
else.
to hear that the offense is making moves, even with the shaky. Well, not necessarily. I'm not gonna say shaky because we don't really even know what's gonna be happening with the O line. Like, there's no decisions that have been made,
Right.
but it's shaky in a sense that it's not consistent yet. It's not secure yet. Like, it's not finalized. We don't know who's gonna be where necessarily, but you know,
And that probably won't even be the case even after this season. Who knows? But
right.
happy to see that our TCU pick Avila's been doing well. I heard
Putting in some work, yeah.
putting in some work. I did read a tweet about that earlier today. So it's definitely still looking like it's gonna take some time this season. Is,
So no, you know, do you think that this is the tank season?
I think they're dressing it up beautifully and saying that, you know, using anything but the word, you know what I mean? Like, so,
I don't know. Like, there was a tweet that Twitter, but no, there was a tweet that I had retweeted, and it was like, it was a bar, and this guy he was spitting. He was just like, you know, like, we'll never not try to win. Like, that's not in McVay. You know, like, Aaron
true.
Donald won't do that. Matthew Stafford won't do that. Cooper Kupp won't do that. And like, that is so true because like, I've never played a snap of football. Like, that is me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a true fan, a lover of this game. But like, I feel like from the sidelines as a fan, especially for McVay, especially as with him as a coach, like, I'm ready to jump in there. I'm ready to die for this team.
No, for sure.
But it's just, if you feel like you've set those guys up to be the pillars and you won one together and you're saying, like, I mean, I can probably hear McVay saying, like, just let me fill in these pieces, trust me, whatever the case is. Like, yeah, you're gonna try to win. You're not gonna just be like, next year they're gonna have the whatever pick, the number one pick. No, that's not the competitor in those guys.
Yeah. And I'll say, I totally agree with you. First of all, I think that it's not in any of their DNAs to just completely give up. I also don't think that they would do that. Do I think we're winning more than 7 games? Maybe not. But I hope it's damn sure better than last year, and that's all we can ask for, right?
And it has to be. It truly has to be. Like, I was looking at the defensive roster, you know, like the depth chart, and Sosa had said, "God bless Raheem Morris," and it's like, yeah. Like,
he's got a lot on his plate this season. I do want to.
Aaron Donald and
yeah. But
Aaron Donald, he might be having that new dad energy. Congratulations to him and his wife.
Congratulations. They gave birth to a boy, right?
Yes, congratulations.
I said they, like he did it, but you know. Yeah, I think I'll say this and then we can go on to the next topic, but I think there's definitely more upside this season with some new pieces here and there than last season. There's definitely something to look forward to, I'll say.
Yeah, the tight end. What you were saying is true. Like, you know, they have a lot of upside in these young guys. Like, a third of the roster is young guys. You know what I mean? So,
and it's unfortunately it's going to take some time. And I think people they still have that taste of victory anyway. So I think regardless though, it's still LA. And I think that comes with pressure no matter what the sport is.
Right.
To win. So I think that it's going to be a lot better than last year. Are we going to make the playoffs? I don't know.
I mean,
Every prediction that I'm seeing, everybody that from all the analysts that I've watched, all the posts that I've seen, everybody has us like nothing better than
dead last.
second.
Dead last.
It's like they're putting us above the Cardinals, right? It's
Not
like,
even dead last, but
yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. Like we're down.
Well, we're not
down
even
there.
going to count the Cardinals, right? God knows what they're doing. Bless their hearts.
We're down there. I mean, they're offloading.
They really are. They really are. So
for nothing.
Yeah, and I think it's a fair place to give us. I don't think that we've shown much promising or many promising moves this season, or this coming season, I should say. So I'm actually okay with where we're at. No expectations. Just, we got to write it out.
I'm hopeful, but I'm also realistic. Like, I don't want the show to seem like this is the Ram show where I'm just going to be like, they're awesome, they're amazing. Like we have to be realistic because, we're women who are talking about football and like truthfully speaking, like we already don't necessarily get the respect for our opinion. So like if we're given this just over inflated, over exaggerated, just ultra biased opinion that is quite frankly asinine, like I don't think that would be quite satisfying to the viewer.
Yeah.
But and like I want to be authentic and I want to be truthful and I'm a realist. So not to say like I think that we absolutely can make the playoffs, but I do think that it could be possible because I don't think that the NFC is just that cutthroat like the AFC is, you know what I mean? So we can talk about that though in a minute, but just in terms of the Rams and upside, I didn't really watch all of the Raiders game. There were some plays that I watched with Stetson Bennett, and to me, it was a play where he overshot this receiver. Well, and like I was debating back and forth with people on Twitter just about them telling me that no, it was a miscommunication because the receiver had ran the wrong route. And then they were saying like, oh, it was a misread by him. And like, it's, the NFL is all about timing and that window and like the route and da-da-da. And I'm just like, regardless of that, even if it was about timing, he completely missed him. And like, it was a terrible read. It was like triple coverage and it would have been a pick. And that is okay. That is okay. That is why you put him out there in the preseason. Like you're playing this vanilla offense. You want to get a feel for him. You want to get him loose. You want to get him comfortable. You want to get him, scrambling around and just not scrambling around, but you want to get him comfortable in the pocket and then roll him out a little bit and just do some things. Like, you just testing it out. Like, I expect him to make mistakes. I don't expect him to be amazing because again, he's a backup quarterback. Like Matthew Stafford is going to be, he's a pillar.
Right.
So, oh my gosh. Sorry. That was my note board. See, that's why we need people to work for us.
Yeah. And I think like that goes back to what I was saying about our growing pains. Right. And that's a perfect example. I think whether it's Stetson or Matthew, like somebody's going to be doing some scrambling around, unfortunately, given our line situation. That's okay. But those are just going to be the growing pains. And that's
what super realist. Like,
I know. They're like, dude,
teetering on the side of like a pessimist.
Hey, at least it leaves little room for disappointment. But like I said,
true. But again, what was our record last season? Like we won 3 games, right?
5, I believe.
5 games. Oh my God. I was in a dark place.
She's like, please make me forget that.
I mean, 5 games. Oh, we could win 5 games.
That's what I'm saying. It could be a couple games better than last season. That's okay. We'll have it. But we do know is that we will be at some tailgates this season. So that's one thing we are sure of.
Yes,
And
yes. For sure. For sure. Home opener, season opener at SoFi, the crib.
yes. And there's some other games that we're gonna
Don't sell your tickets, people.
Seriously.
Like, I know, don't sell tickets. Just don't do that. I'm not selling my seats.
Well, yeah. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna be tailgating, asking questions, having fun, playing games. It's regardless season in a dump or not.
We want to know. We're gonna want to figure out at the tailgate takeover who is the ultimate tailgate at the Rams tailgate.
Yep.
In terms of just party vibe, Rams trivia, food.
Yes.
Because I have to taste the food, Brittany Bites.
All that good stuff.
Gotta always give that a plug, even though I don't have my episodes out. It's coming soon.
So we wanted to go ahead and talk about the NFC, how the imbalance, I guess you could say, between the AFC is I think we briefly talked about this last episode, but it doesn't help that Aaron Rodgers left to the AFC.
Well, it helps the NFC. Let's say that. But no, like I was saying, the Rams possibly, like, I give them a chance in terms of making the playoffs because the NFC isn't as I'm not gonna say it isn't as competitive. Like, it's the NFL, it's the top of the top, the best of the best. But it's just not the AFC right now.
No.
And so with there being an extra wild card spot, it's possible.
Maybe
it's possible.
Yeah, it is possible. I think the NFC is going to be the Eagles' NFC to lose. So that's my thought. There's maybe outside of them. Obviously, we unfortunately have to give the Niners their credit.
Absolutely.
We don't know what their quarterback situation is looking like, but that doesn't matter because it matters, but it'll get them there. We've seen it time and time again, right? They haven't had a superstar talent at quarterback, and they've gone there. So
shout out to the system.
Exactly. I definitely think
you have to give him credit. Like, he's a great offensive mind. Whether he's a great game manager and just like a closeout, get the job done guy, like, obviously no. But he's a good offensive mind.
Yeah, of course. That I don't think that there's denying that. We've seen it time and time again, not just with the Niners. We can talk about that unfortunate game in February of 2017, but when he was a Falcon. But let's not talk about that. But like I said, I think the NFC is the Eagles to lose. There's a strong case for the Niners there. I really like where the Lions are at right now.
Really? In the North, I like the Vikings again. I liked them last season, and like, I got a lot of slack because it was like they didn't play a lot of people. Their strength of the schedule was weak.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, that type of thing. But here's the thing. Like, they won 13 games, if I'm not mistaken. 13 games, which that's not that easy to do in the National Football League. No matter what, they were wins. I don't care if every single game was 21-20, they were wins. You know what I mean?
That game against the Colts alone, like,
the comeback,
historic, and you got to give it credit where it's due. So I agree.
Yeah, but then okay, yeah. So no, but I was going to talk about something else. But yeah, the Vikings to me, I think, are a very strong contender, especially because they just added another piece to their arsenal. I was telling Ryan when I was talking to him last week. Thank you, Ryan, so much for filling in for P.
Yeah, for real. Thanks, Ryan, shout out to Ryan for filling in for me.
He's the best. No, I was telling Ryan that since the Vikings have gotten Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator, that's a big piece, like, I think that changes a lot of things. They already have Kevin O'Connell. He's offensive mind. He worked with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and then he worked with Kirk Cousins. I mean, not necessarily the same, but then you got Jettas, you know what I mean? And now you're going to have Jordan Addison too.
Yeah.
Like, and their running back is Cook 2.0, supposedly, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Alex Madison, yeah.
Madison. Okay. Yeah, because you're my
He's
fantasy girl.
I can't wait till we talk about fantasy. My God.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't disagree with you. I think that they're definitely going to make some noise in their division this season too.
I think that they might. You know.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Niners are going to win the West?
We're talking about being realistic, right?
And I was kind of going back and forth. So Ryan, I was going back and forth with this guy on Twitter. He was a bully though, like for real. Like, and I was on another space listening to him talk to people, and he just bullies people. Like, oh my gosh, but whatever. So he was just kind of talking about the Niners and the hate that the Rams have, and it's like I truly can put the hate aside as a realist to say that the Niners are a good football team that doesn't finish the job. Now, whatever you want to take that as, whatever piece you think that is, that needs to be changed, adjusted, shifted, whatever, you know what I mean? But something's not right. Something isn't 100%. And I don't think that going into this season, Brock Purdy is necessarily it after seeing him play a few, postseason games.
You're saying you don't think he's it?
I don't think he's it, but I think that the Niners are always like I can put my hatred as a Rams fan to the side and say that the Niners are always a contender. Do I think that they're top 3 in the league right now? No,
of course not.
But I think that they're always a contender.
Of course.
Defense is always strong. Like the offense, like I was saying, give Kyle Shanahan his credit in terms of his offense that he runs is, his system.
Yeah, right. Obviously, I think this maybe Shanahan's like he's kind of his seat's getting a little warm. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think they can handle another season of just barely getting there or barely making it. Or at the end of the day, you get no banners for. We almost made it, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't count.
Almost doesn't count, exactly. So I think that it's fair to say that Shanahan's seat is a little warm. It's a little lukewarm right now. Okay. That correct situation in San Francisco is not pretty. It's not good optics either, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, if that's not dividing the locker room in any way, shape, or form, and the guys can come together and win these games, then hey, more power to them. But yeah, I can sit here confidently say that, they are definitely. I would give them top 5 to come out of the conference, but they gotta get the job done first, and I think that's been a consistent issue with them. So,
I think that Seattle's gonna come out of the West though, and like that's not with me. That's not even my hatred. You know what I mean? Speaking.
No, regardless, yeah, they're
gonna be really good.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, Pete Carroll is Pete Carroll, right?
Yep. They drafted really well. Like they have just like springy young guys. Like, I mean, what more is there to say? Their running back duo is nice.
Yeah. I read some positive things.
But their receiver got hurt. He broke his wrist, I think. The rookie that they drafted from Ohio State. But still, like, I don't think that means.
Yeah. So they're saying
a lot, like everything, that's detrimental, but I think that they're still going to be a threat.
Sure.
Even, with Geno.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think they got some good stuff on both sides of the ball, right? Like it's like talk about a front office that knows what they're doing. That's not a knock on anybody else's front office, by the way. That's just an example. You know what I mean? And obviously Pete Carroll plays a huge role in that, but there's some good stuff that's coming out of Seattle, and it's already in the works, right? So I think their fans are like really excited about that. I can't talk about Seattle, not talk about my boy Zach. Read
Yeah,
some
I say they drafted some UCLA guys. Didn't they draft a tight end too?
They drafted Zach, and they drafted his name is escaping me right now, but it wasn't a tight end. I'll get back to you on that. But they did draft two of my UCLA boys. So there's definitely some upside there. I can see the case for why you would say that Seattle's coming out of the West. We can make cases for both of those teams, right? But hey, who knows? It's football. Who knows?
Oh my gosh, there's so much parity in the NFL. Like it's just any given Sunday.
Exactly.
Anybody Sunday, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and I'm glad you said any given Sunday, because I think that's going to take us to the next topic about fantasy football, because the stress is about to start, okay? I did my first draft on Sunday. I got my next draft on Saturday with the Rams chat. Shout out to the Rams chat, because I love the boys in there.
Okay. Wait, so how many leagues are you in?
Girl, why did you stop me? I'm in 3. I was in 4. I'm in 3 right now. If I would have said, like, if I would have agreed to as many as I wanted to, I probably would have been in 5. But
Oh my gosh,
that's just a waste of time and money, and I don't got it. So I am in 3. I got 2 on Saturday, and I'm done. I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to one team that I obviously already did. I'm pretty excited about. You know what, though, I thought was interesting? This is actually the first season that I've done fantasy football where I don't have a single Ram on my team.
Really? Oh my goodness!
I don't have a single
Ram. This. No.
No, be quiet. Well, I'll say this: I had the 10th pick. Okay. So I went Nick Chubb with my first.
Okay.
But I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any Rams.
Who was the first receiver that you took, and who's your quarterback?
My quarterback for a third year since his rookie season is Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Nice. The first receiver that I took was actually George Pickens.
I think that he's gonna put up some nice numbers.
Yeah, so I got George Pickens. He was one of the first receivers that I took. I went back-to-back running backs, and then I got that out of the way, and then I just started going all over the place. I don't really have
What was the second running back?
Tony Pollard.
Okay.
So he went like
back?
What's that?
He's back?
Yeah. I mean, and then with Zeke leaving, I'm looking at like hey, he's gonna be that guy in Dallas. So hey, I can interchange. I'm trying to get Zach on my team, but somebody's trying to trade me for him. They're trying to finesse me because they know how bad I want him on my team. I'm like, come on, man.
Well, they're trying to give you, or you got to hand over what?
He wants Tony Pollard for Zach Charbonnet. I'm like, no, dude, come on. Zach's like
a straight up trade.
No, straight up. No. He's actually giving me somebody else too. I forgot.
Is that going to be their Seattle's running back too?
Well, that's another thing that I read. He was trying to give me Antonio Gibson and Zach, and I would give him Tony Pollard. 2 probably RB2s, RB3s with an RB1 upside for Tony Pollard. Probably the only guy that's reliable at that position in Dallas right now. No.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think that is one thing that I just noticed talking to you right now. I don't have a single Ram on my team. That makes me sad. I'm like, wait, I just thought
about a little pessimism there.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, I don't even want nothing to do with you guys. No, I'm just kidding. Do you have like a when you do play fantasy? I know that you like play, then like it's just like sometimes you also do it for fun, but do you have like a must do when you play fantasy? Like, I gotta have this guy, or I gotta go this way, or like, like for me, it's like if usually everyone's
pattern.
Yeah, or usually everyone's strategy is like draft a running back first, but people go all over the place, especially lately with like the surge of tight ends and stuff like that. Like, people go all over the place, but like for me, it's like I thought it was like I want at least one Ram, and I guess it didn't happen. Well, first of all, before I could draft, Cooper was already gone. So
of course,
yeah.
Like, why would you leave him on the table?
Yeah, I was 10th.
Maybe you can trade for somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that's my first draft was out. I have 2 this weekend. We'll see what it looks like. Maybe I gotta have a Ram some of these teams. Like I can't be fake about it, But looking forward to fantasy football. It's always exciting. It makes football season that much more fun, I think. And it also I feel like fantasy football will be having you root for like guys or teams that you never thought you would root for. Like I had Deebo Samuel a couple seasons ago. I think last season I was like wishing that they would win. I'm like, okay,
I know what you mean.
You know
My brother will be watching the game with us, and like obviously, us being Rams fans, and like if he has a 9, like if you say he has Deebo, he's like, sorry, but I need him to score. Like he'll tell us to our face, just his fantasy is a little bit more important than our fandom. So
yeah, I get it. Fantasy football does just brings out a different side of people. I feel football in general does, but fantasy football does bring out a different side in people.
Oh, that's betting. Trust me, that's a whole episode though.
Yeah. I don't even want to look at my price picks because, first of all, I'm locked out.
Oh no, we're gonna start like. Trust me, that's gonna be a part of this once the season's because we're not degenerates. We're not preseason betting. Are you kidding?
Speak for yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I love you. No, we're not betting right now. But once the season gets started, we're locked and loaded. And we'll like share our picks, you know what I mean? Like we'll do the same ticket. That's what we'll do. We'll share it and then we'll see who wants to ride with us.
For sure. I gotta get my price pick situation fixed. I almost got my price picks got hacked when I was on vacation and they locked my account ever since. So
oh Lord. Okay, well get that figured out first. Maybe, yeah.
So yeah, fantasy is on the way.
I'm really gonna see if Laquan can come on here next week because you'll have your final draft by then. We can talk fantasy with us. He's like the expert.
I will. So, I'm not an expert by any
from Rams Twitter, and so you're my expert. What do you mean? Shut up.
I'm not a fantasy expert by any means, but you know what? This year, I sound like a Cowboy fan. This is my year.
My God! Every year is your year.
This year is my year.
Oh gosh.
No shade.
I love them. Everybody has Cowboys fans in their lives, and they're like the same person. Like they can just describe them, and they're like the same person.
It's like if you like when you choose your fan base, you have like a questionnaire, right? And I feel like every single Cowboy fan ticks the same box. It's insane. Yeah. It's like a science behind it. Yeah. I gotta say, Niner fans are getting up there.
Yeah. And you know what bothers me? Like this is just gonna be a random rant, but like on Twitter, can we call it Twitter still even? Is it X?
Look, Staples is always going to be Staples to me.
That absolutely. And so you know what? You are right because I'm going to always call them tweets. So exactly. Twitter, it will forever be Twitter on this show. I'm talking sporty, but so Twitter. I forgot what I was going to say. I hate that. Anywho, that just happens. Like we already talked about that at the beginning. I was like, mom brain. I have a little chart here, but whatever.
It'll come back to you. We can
one day. But yeah, fantasy, we'll get it popping, all that.
Oh, you said you're gonna have Laquan on here.
We have to ask him. Yeah, hopefully he says yes.
And then, so we want to go on to our segment of our shows that we have been.
What have you been watching, my friend?
So I am up to date on Hard Knocks. I just watched back-to-back weeks. Obviously today's Thursday, so the Tuesday episode just came out. I gotta say, and I know that you and I talked about this kind of on the last episode, but I gotta say, I genuinely see like the excitement behind Hard Knocks again. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, people are saying it's good again.
Yeah, it's for obvious reasons, of course, sure, but it's like it's like it doesn't feel like half-assed or like it's just like I again, I had stopped watching Hard Knocks probably like on and off. I actually watched a couple episodes last year. You know, the Lions had the Hard Knocks. I did watch a couple episodes of the Lions because my boy Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? We had to show him some love, but I didn't watch it all the way through. I feel like this season, the Hard Knocks with the Jets, I'm like, all right, it's Tuesday. I gotta watch it. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And of course, you know, they also just got Dalvin Cook. They had a really interesting part of where they make the rookies do the embarrassing things. I thought that was hilarious. You know, they had to stop the yard bit. My favorite, and it seems like it's a lot of people's favorite, is the 8 Mile reenactment. That one was hilarious. And everybody was like into it too. You know what I mean?
It was lit.
So, yeah, that's what I'm watching right now. And then, you know, Swamp Kings just came out. What do you like? First of all, have you watched it? And then second, like from what you've watched, I'll speak for myself. I've watched one episode so far. What are your thoughts around Swamp King? Because I'm reading a lot of conflicting like opinions about it.
Okay, well, it's part of the Untold series by Netflix, which I like, by the way. I'll talk to you about that. But it, to me, should have just been called Untold Tim Tebow and Co. Or like urban legend and Tim Tebow, the urban legend of Tim Tebow, or whatever the case is, because it truly was the story of them. And like they just left so much out that they couldn't put in because like that is untold. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it, like you have the episode of Malice at the Palace. Like you want to know everybody's input of what happened because we didn't have back then. And the and one, like the behind the scenes, like we get to hear from them, and like the whole scandal with the refs with Tim Donahue, and you know you get to hear about that, the untold part, and it was like everything that they're saying, like we know this. What are you talking about? Like, and like so focused on just what we already knew, Tim Urban Meyer in this. Just, you know, I don't know. It just wasn't as raw and uncut as I thought.
Yeah, and I agree with you. There were so many opportunities to talk about, obviously, the elephant in the room, whether it be Aaron Hernandez or even the Cam Newton situation.
I didn't expect them to talk about that, though.
I did.
From a PR standpoint, like you have to think there's so many things out on that. You know what I mean? Like we know the story.
Which is exactly why you would think that they were like, hey, people want to know about this stuff. There's already so many things out about it.
It's a lot. You know what I mean? So that's a whole story.
Yeah, but I think not talking about it at all.
But they could have just like spliced to it. What you're saying.
Yeah.
And it was a whole lot, you know. Just
but
thing like.
Yeah, even again, you didn't have to go into detail. Cool. Like obviously you think of Georgia, you think the Gators, you think of Florida. Of course you're gonna think about Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer. That's okay. And that's understandable. Make that I don't know, 70% of the documentary, sure. I'm gonna continue watching it, even though
it could have down to like 50% because there's just so much more of a story to tell.
Yeah, and I am getting the same sentiments from everybody that you're getting, where it's like they're saying like it's as if they just like consulted with Tim and Urban's like PR team and just said like this is what you can and can't talk about. Or
So
you know
like
what I
I've
mean?
been seeing, people say in their opinion that they feel that that's what Untold is. And, because there's a Jake Paul one, there's the Johnny Manziel one. And it's like they're like, it's propaganda. Like, I mean, I don't think it's entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that it's necessarily propaganda, but I get what you're saying. I get how it's supposed to be a documentary in a sense.
Right.
Like I am a documentary connoisseur. So I don't think that these are true documentaries per se. I think that Netflix is trying to draw in a different viewer. Like I don't expect, the sports gurus of the world to necessarily be running to watch these things. It's more so the people who maybe don't know much about it and just are a little bit enticed and can get the Hollywood version. Like that's the world that we're in, folks. Like they're gonna give it to us that way. Like that's just what we have come to. So we can either watch it or we can't. But I think that the series as a whole has been really good. Like I mentioned, like they had the Malice at the Palace. They had this one about this minor league hockey team called the Danbury Trashers. Like I will forever say that that's the best one. And it's about this 17-year-old kid who was given a hockey team by his dad, a minor league hockey team, and he was like the GM, and he pretty much got this team to the championship as a 17-year-old, but his dad was like in with the mob and like he ran a trash company, hence the name Danbury Trashers. And like he was like, I envision, you love it, because he says that he envisioned it to be WWE mixed with hockey. And it is like, he's like, I loved wrestling. I loved like everything about it from back in the day. So, and even like now, so I wanted to mix all that in. And like, he even got, NHL players to come and play with him, and like Canadian stars. Like you got to see that one. That's a really good one. So I don't think that series is what people are saying. Like,
yeah, and I get you.
Good ones.
No, yeah, for sure. I hear.
Have you seen any of the other ones?
Yeah, I think I talked about this in the previous episode a little bit, but I seen the Manti Te'o one. Obviously,
yeah, you did tell me that, girl. My brain.
But I have heard that Jerry Jones is getting one. I don't know if it's an Untold. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I'm sorry, guys. I may not watch that. I'm sorry.
10 episodes. It's a lot. And I don't know.
Well, that man has enough PR as it is. I'm not watching it.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, I think that as not just viewers, but like sports people and what we want to take in, we have a choice. And like, yeah, I don't want to watch that one. I haven't watched, and I probably won't watch the Steph one, the Steph Curry one. And like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a choice. And like, I love Steph. I think that he's a great player. Like, I love him as a dad, as a husband, you know what I mean? But I don't want to see that. And
yeah,
Jerry Jones, I definitely don't want to see 10 episodes of him. Like, and not to even compare the two, but
no. But I think
I'm just saying that's like one of the ones that's out as of recent.
Yeah, and I think Steph, like Jerry Jones, they don't need any more PR than what they already get. But hey, there's people that will watch it, and like you said, we do have a choice to watch it or not watch it. So we will continue to watch Swamp Kings. I think that there's, regardless of the obvious, you get some really good looks behind their workouts. That stuff to me was awesome. So I'll continue.
Oh yeah, that behind the scene footage, like the midnight workouts, like they weren't going to the club, and I mean, it was wild.
Like all that stuff, like that stuff to me is like, maybe that's stuff that like, folks who are not Gator fans didn't know. And I think that, so that's stuff there's some promising things in there. So I'll definitely continue watching it, and we can talk about this stuff next week when we're a little bit more caught up. We'll talk about Hard Knocks as well. There's some good stuff on TV aside from,
I will say though about Hard Knocks, because the beginning, the way that Robert Saleh opened with the 4 levels of like the survivor, the contender, the competitor, and the commander, I was just like, whoa, I'm sold. You know what I mean? But that is kind of what Hard Knocks always tries to do. Like they give you that like Rocky hyping this team up.
You got to buy in, right? They want you to buy into.
Like, oh, they gotta have a good season. Like, look at what they're focusing on. Like, but I really feel like this is. I mean, the Jets. They seem like a complete team. You know, like from a coaching standpoint, like I feel like he has the locker room, like McVay has the locker room, you know what I mean? Like he's very much well respected. You know, he's so smart. He's just ingenuitive with that defense and just like how he shored it up.
Yeah. And that's his bread and butter, right?
I bought in with the Jets. Yeah. But I still think in the AFC, my pick has always been from since the Ravens.
Okay, in the AFC.
In the AFC. I'm saying yeah. No, I'm saying the Jets I bought in with them. Like I really think that they're gonna be tough to beat. I think that they are a squad from what we see, right? Like but
yeah, and I think that actually I don't care if they get mad at me, but Bills fans, if they do watch this, the Jets are gonna give y'all run for your money. They're probably gonna take it from
the
you guys.
Mafia they're strong. But no, I think that Miami's gonna be good too. Mike McDaniel, you don't understand. Have you listened to the Blake Callers yet?
Not yet. I'm sorry. There's a lot of stuff I need to do. Watch. There's a lot of content out there.
He is a madman. Like he is very, like you have to listen to him and like his football mind. Like he's a madman.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not denying that. I know that he's like a crazy genius. Just by hearing, he could do a press conference and you'll.
But he's so misunderstood in a way that I think that he's like cool and like funny and like not that I'm saying like but no, like I do. And so I think that he really has so much buy-in in Miami. That fan base is expecting a lot. And I mean, the reality of the situation is they have a squad.
Yeah, they do.
Once Jalen gets back, defense is shored up. Offense, as long as Tua can do his job, deliver,
literally do his job.
That madman is gonna work up this scheme that's just gonna be like crazy, like Acme, like Road Runner, just like stuff you've never seen before with Cheetah and Waddle and
I think that there's like the biggest caveat is if Tua is healthy, right? Because we're dealing with a really sensitive situation with Tua.
Very true.
That's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous. Obviously, I know this is something you also want to talk about, is the Tua Ryan Clark situation. It's not even a situation, really. I watched the video. Ryan Clark admitted that he said what he said about Tua. For those of you that don't know what he said, he commented on his weight. He said it was a joke. He said that once people were not taking it as a joke, was when he was like, all right. And by he, I mean Ryan Clark, I got to come out and say something. So I wanted to talk about that because I wanted to give you a quick example. I think you, like me, were huge fans of players who joined the media because I think they challenged the folks who didn't play in a good way. And it sets a great example of how Stephen A. Smith was calling out Lonzo Ball and saying, first of all, HIPAA compliance, saying that he knows his doctors and that that's not true, right? But this man is doubling down, right? Stephen A. Smith he's not backing down. Lonzo responded, stood up from a chair, sat down, stood up from a chair, sat down. Ryan Clark, however, this guy, he's just as if we already weren't fans of his.
Yeah.
He just came out and said, hey, you know what? When I first took this job as a player, I understood that I was going to respect these guys. And so I kind of want to get your thoughts on that, on how you, like, first of all, interpreted it. And yeah.
No, I mean, I personally, when I first heard him say it, of course you chuckle, just part of the culture, the jokes. I didn't think that Ryan Clark meant anything offensive. You know what I mean? And like me, okay, and I'm going to say this now because moving forward, I hope that this sentiment remains. But like, I'm the type of person where like intention is everything. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You know? And like, love always thinks the best. And just when it's said and done, like, you aren't trying to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. And so I don't think that was the place that Ryan Clark is coming from, but we're in just the cancel culture. We're in the world where people are overly sensitive, and there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. I'm a Pisces, you know. I'm like oversensitive, but there's like a fine line. Like this is a job, you know what I mean? Like you are critiquing people at what they do. You're in the field, whatever. So I didn't think that he meant any ill will by it. But absolutely, do I think that like it can become a distraction with everybody pressing you about it, and like maybe who's to say? Maybe it's something that he was self-conscious about. Maybe it was something that bringing it up is could be an issue, not necessarily like an insecurity, but just I don't know, like for the media to constantly press him about it, like it bothered him. And I don't think that needed to be in the forefront, just in terms of like, this is preseason. Like we got other things to talk about. Like they working, you know what I mean? Like let's bring up other things. Like I think that the point could have been made differently. It was a joke. And then Tua said that he didn't take it that way necessarily, like for lack of those words. He said, I'd rather you keep my name out of your mouth, whatever the case is. And then Ryan, he got the message. And for him to come back as a man and apologize in front of the world, you know what I mean? Like It didn't take long. Like I went to bed and woke up and there was an apology from Ryan Clark. And I'm just like, okay.
That's right. Yeah.
And we're moving on from it. And I think that we have to just take things that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also I understand that this is their job. I think that to a certain extent, they can comment on their health. I think what Stephen A. Smith has done is the complete opposite of what you should do. Sure, it's your job to comment on it, discuss it, talk about it, but I think there's levels, like you said.
It comes off devious, my sources. You know what I mean? Like, well, like why are your sources like trying to cook something up that's negative? You know what I mean? Like, do you only want to drop like TMZ type stuff? Like,
yeah, and it's like I said, first of all, HIPAA, hello, like you ever talk about this man's doctors and like what anyway. But
they need to find out about. They needed those doctors. Okay, need to be
Ryan Clark. Yeah,
they work at.
I know. He responded fairly quickly. Said some good stuff. Completely handled it like amazing. And if I think the more retired players we get in the media, they like follow like the way Ryan Clark did it. Obviously not everything's perfect, but I think
and this is no disrespect, you know what I mean? Like this isn't to take away from talent on the field, but I don't think that everybody is meant for jobs and things like that. I think that, and I'm just gonna continue to shout him out, like Sean McVay, geez Louise, he's just that amazing. He's a Renaissance man. He can go to the booth right now. He can be an analyst, like a personality, because even though it's not necessarily, he's not like your funny jokester type guy. Like he has a good personality.
Yeah. He's like electric. Yeah.
So he can be on the sidelines. Like everything about him is just so versatile, but still so good. Still so really, really, really good at everything. So yeah. But I don't think that everybody can make it like that.
No. I agree with you. I think there's like you get different guys that do it, right? Because who listens to what Emmanuel Acho has to say? I'm sorry. Like, sorry, dude. But that guy is just, anyway, that's a different story. But I feel like there's a different range of guys, right? You have Pat McAfee, who did he took it his entire different route that has been incredibly successful. I'm a huge fan of the show. And now he's going to be on ESPN. You got guys like Tony Romo, right? Who first bought like a lot of people in, lost it.
I love Tony Romo when he's in the booth, by the way. And like I've said that, and people think that I'm absolutely crazy. I don't know if it's like
No,
the
I agree.
in his voice that people hate, but I don't think that you can hate his IQ. I don't think that you can hate the way that he like chops down, plays, and like he does it quick. You know what I mean? Like he's a replay before the replay,
Right.
and he like can predict plays, and he obviously tells you like he reads defenses right. I mean, that's your job again, but he gives you color commentary too.
Yeah, he gives you like I said, they all give like Pat McAfee. He's like the entertainment of it, right? Guys like I would say guys
for the
like
culture,
right? He's a little bit more like, but I love the guy. Tony Romo, he's gonna give you, I think, something of what a McVay would give you. Another guy that I'm starting to like too is Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen's gotten in the booth.
Yeah, me too. I like him.
He gives me another like Tony Romo vibe too. But I think that like the more and more,
you know who was good in the booth, but it's over. Like it.
Who said it's over?
Talib McKee.
Oh yeah. Well, didn't
he had a stint, and it was like it was like watching your homeboy in the booth. Well, not watching him, but listening to him, and it's like, hey, like I could definitely understand the.
Didn't the
get into
him? He got into some legal trouble, did he not?
Yeah.
But like I said, a lot of these players are going to give you like these different like vibes and point of views.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think what the hope is that, again, it's not for everybody, like you said, but that they take the route in the sense that Ryan Clark took, in the sense of like, at the end of the day, I was a player once, I understand. And I think that's huge. The more players we get like that, where they side with the players but are also part of the media, I think is a good thing. And it's like something to look forward to, you know what I mean? As far as like, I mean, when Tom Brady starts to do it, right? You got a huge deal.
Yeah.
People are going to be, that's appointment TV right there.
It's going to be a bag too.
Yeah.
I'm very much so looking forward to seeing that. Like McVay could be a coach right now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting way to see the future of sports media, or more importantly,
football. I mean, did you watch BS High?
No, I haven't watched.
Wrap it up. We'll just kind of close everything there. But
no, I haven't watched the Bishop Sycamore thing. I do plan on watching it.
Let me hype it up for you. No.
Yeah, I do plan on watching it. I'm trying.
It is okay. So it's on Max. It's not a Netflix one, but it is not a sports doc. Like
no, yeah, I know. It wasn't. They weren't a real team, so it can. But
categorize it as a sports doc, but it is a scammer doc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Tinder swindler.
Yeah, of course. They didn't exist. So
no, but I mean, yes, we know that part. But when I say scammer doc, the levels that this man went to.
Yeah.
And what he put these kids through.
Right.
You have to watch it.
No, yeah, I am. It's on my list for sure. Got a lot of stuff to watch. That's what we love about this, though, right? And then today, we'll wrap it up with this. Next week will be a week away from the season starting. So today, the NFL did what I think was honestly one of my favorite season announcements they could have done. For those of you who remember, it was a joke that Arian Foster did on an interview in a podcast. He said he was joking, he was being sarcastic about the NFL writing scripts.
Wasn't it like a conspiracy podcast?
Yeah, but Arian Foster, first of all, I followed him because besides the fact that he was a great running back, but he also gets into the politics space a little bit. So I like to keep up with him a tiny bit. But yes, it was a conspiracy podcast. That's right. He said he was joking. He was being sarcastic, but the best thing that happened that only Twitter can do is obviously they took it and they ran with it and turned it into an entire thread.
I remember all the memes and just
that thread of the NFL scripts was like top 7 like favorite days on Twitter for me, because I would like send them to my brother, just start cracking up. Like, we would send each other all these memes about the NFL being scripted. Well, obviously the NFL capitalized on that like they only know how to do, and they turned it into the season announcement that dropped today. And it's freaking hilarious. Of course.
The writers are on strike. I don't know how they did that, but okay.
Of course they got
NFL. Did you stop the picket line? Because
they got a key.
I cannot support that. Okay, I stand with the laborers in the union always.
So Key from Key and Peele's in it because, of course, I believe he did the NFL 100 commercial too. But it's so funny.
It was funny.
It is funny. So funny.
Chase was in it. Who else?
DK
was in it, right?
DK Metcalf was in it. Jamar Chase. They had Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, Jalen. Jalen was there in his uniform, full pads.
Justin Fields.
And then the whole thing with Pat, like they were saying, X out this Pat Mahomes character.
It's funny too that their name tabs, it says actor instead of like, it says their name right, but it just says actor.
Girl, what do you mean? They're not real football players.
Yeah, so they fully bought into that NFL scripting thing. I thought it was genius besides being hilarious.
That's funny.
And I think, it was like, I don't see how the NBA can top something like that. Because it was funny. And you know what?
It's a different vibe. NBA is a different vibe.
No, it is a different vibe, but I think it was still great in the sense that they played into the social media thing, and they knew like how to like make it into like a moment. You know what I mean? I think that's like was what my favorite part was. That's why when I seen like the chick walking in with the big old stack of scripts, I was like, oh, I already know what they're doing. Oh my God. So yeah. We wanted to talk about that because I was just so happy to watch that. I've watched that video a few times. I'm not gonna lie.
I only watched it once, but it was funny.
Yeah. So, I guess we can wrap it up here.
Hopefully, we can get a dub this weekend with our preseason game, and we'll be chatting again soon.
Yep. So
we're almost we're really close to October. We got to talk about baseball soon. Like Talkin Sporty. I know we will be talking more than just football, but right now we are so excited, so stoked for football, LA football, our Rams, and
college football.
It is right now. So we'll talk more. We won't be, like we said, we won't just overwhelm you with Rams, but
no, of course not. College football season is about to start. It's around the corner. We'll get into that. So same time next week.
I just want to die. Damn, you look good, huh? Damn, you look good, girl, and you look good. Need to stop. Niggas came in 2 shots. I'm waiting to hit sugar.